That was awesome. Hello, good people. My guitar shredding guest tonight has been featured in Rolling Stone, Guitar World, and Vogue magazines, appeared in a chic Gucci commercial, and even had a wah-off with Kirk Hammett of Metallica. She has a rockin' new song and a brand new Patreon page where fans can have privileged access to the world of Mrs. Smith. It is my pleasure to welcome socialite, guitar hero, and self-proclaimed stand-up tragedian, Mrs. Smith. Woo!
JP!
Oh my gosh. It's so great to have you on the show, Mrs. Smith. Thank you for being here.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me. It's lovely to be here.
It is my pleasure. Before we dive into your incredible personal journey, I'd love to hear about your new song.
Yes, the song is called Antifa Niece. My niece, who is really a distant niece by extraction. Our forebears were French Huguenots, but she is my niece. I think she's my spiritual niece, really. She did get caught up in this political moment, and it's sort of scary for the older folks. You know, when you come across them and they've got the anarchist cookbook, and you think, I hope that's filled with like sauces and not something else.
Right.
And I think for her, it's just a desire to be a part of something. You know, I don't really know. And I'm not coming in pro or Antifa at all. I'm just saying, folks, aunts, uncles, you know, your niece and nephew might fall into this. How can you be helpful? You know, things like that. It's more about the dilemma than some sort of a statement. I'm not making a statement. With my niece joining Antifa, I just wanted to make sure that she was making smart choices. We had a contract. You know, that was like, if you find yourself in the middle of a riot on fire and you need a ride, you can call me and I will come and pick you up. No questions asked.
Oh,
I won't
wow.
say, come on, hey, stop it. No judgment. It's just, I will throw a fire blanket on you. I will put you in the car service and bring you home. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Talk about choices tomorrow. But in that moment, if she's on fire, like a Molotov or something has gone awry, a bomb, you know, I want her to call me. I want her to know she can call me no matter what.
Oh, wow. Well, that's touching. It's great fodder for a song. What does this song sound like? What are some of the influences of the actual song?
Well, I actually need this drop D guitar. Would you hold on a second?
Of course.
Did you see my legs? I don't have any hose on. I don't have any pantyhose on. I figured I'd be interviewed from the waist up. The song is in drop D. Join them and she's going to kill me. I feel. So it's a studio creation. I don't know how to like play it all together yet. I'm not ready to take it on the road. But I love that drop D. I love those gnarly kind of riffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of drop D. That's a cool guitar that you have there, and it's has that modification so that you can actually easily have a Floyd Rose or a floating head and drop D.
Yes, it's a D tuner. This is by FU Tone, and Adam from FU Tone hooked me up with this thing. So there's the E, and then you just go like this.
Oh wow.
Now, in the real version of that, we'd be another half step below, but I'm not going that far. How I look.
Wow, what an easy way to switch from E to D with just a pull of a little knob there. That's awesome.
Yes, you have to fix this, so that means it can't really. The whammy bar can only go. It can only go down. It's
Gotcha.
not to my preference for a guitar setup, but it works. It works, and it's great to have just for those one little moments because I don't have to tune and reset up a floating trem guitar.
Sure, sure. That is so cool. Well, the song sounds fantastic. Where can people go to hear your song?
Well, it will be on Bandcamp. It will be on Spotify eventually, but Spotify really slows things down. You got to upload it. It takes all this time. So I'm going to throw it up on Bandcamp. It's my first time with Bandcamp. And let people, if they want to donate, great. If they want to just play it and have fun listening, they can do that. And then there'll be a music video, of course. It's all about the video for me. Everything is video.
Your videos are fantastic. So funny. And the shredding aside, the comedy, the backstory, just everything is so good and well done. So tell us about your Patreon page.
Well, Patreon is one of those things that I've been very slowly talked into by people. And I just thought, artists hate to ask anyone for anything. But you know what? It costs to make this stuff. Right. And I'm an independent artist. I've got a little cult following. I'm not some mainstream superstar. And I just thought, it's getting expensive. I mean, even a really simple video takes a long time to mix the song and then get it mastered and then the filming and all of that. So I figure, a lot of people are enjoying this content for free on Instagram or on YouTube. And if they'd be willing for some special access to help me create the stuff, it's great help. So there will be special perks for patronizers. There'll be special Ask Me Anything live streams. We're going to have a movie night where we watch a movie and I comment on it. There'll be group guitar lessons. So I do have private guitar lessons for people, but those cost it's a little more. But for subscribing to the Patreon, for very little, you get access to a group guitar lesson where you can ask questions for other people. And there'll be behind-the-scenes featurettes and things like that. It's important for me to maintain the Instagram, the Facebook, the YouTube, where people can enjoy it for nothing. But I got to have a little bit of startup. I need a little capital.
Well, I have to say you're an inspiration, not only because of your amazing guitar acumen, but also your ability to overcome seemingly insurmountable life challenges. Can you tell us what happened in Norway?
What didn't happen in Norway? What didn't happen in Norway is the question. In the 90s, I was living a shell of a life. I was married to a marshmallow magnate. I was a trophy wife. I was at luncheons and galas, and I was sort of just calcified inside a Chanel suit, thinking, is this my life? Nights I could be found staring out, through the window of our gloriously appointed penthouse, wishing anyone would take me away from this. Well, somebody heard my cries. One night there was not a knock on the door, a burst through the door. 5 men in all black came through with hoods, boots, heavy metal accoutrements. I hid in the bathroom, but something said, this time is going to be different. Because you see, I've been kidnapped 4 times already. When you live a life of sort of extreme wealth, at the time I was in that world of wealth and marrying rich husbands and all that nonsense. I don't do it anymore. So I'm practically broke. But back then I was doing it, and you get to seminars, how to survive a kidnapping. A lot of them are run by ex-Israeli soldiers, a lot of sort of Blackwater, creepy mercenary type. And there you are out in the middle of the desert near Sedona, because you think you're signed up for something beautiful in Sedona, and they're putting a hood on your head and screaming and throwing you in the back of a really big, nice SUV, but still. You're in the back of an SUV. You're screaming. You learn how to negotiate. You learn how to blink. Get me out of here. Morse code. Get me out of here. Please help me. Help me. Because you never know when you're going to have to read one of those pledges, from the Revolutionary Army. I've done it all. So the 5th time I was kidnapped, I thought, I feel that this is going to be different somehow. It's not about a monetary ransom. I think they're here for my soul. And they took me all the way to Norway. Of course it was a ransom. Of course they wanted money to finish their death metal album. They were caught up in the Norwegian death metal scene, and they were desperate. They didn't know that they had brought a woman who was 1 million times more desperate than them into their purview. They didn't know what force they were drawing into themselves. They didn't know that through me they would taste hell. I spent 3 months in a closet, and it's not fair because Patty Hearst really stole my moment. She was kidnapped in the 70s, and she only lasted 2 months in her closet. I lasted 3 months in mine, and I allied myself with my captors much earlier. So there was a guitar in the closet. 3 months in a closet. What are you going to do? And then I would go through all the modes. So finally, I practiced and practiced and practiced, and finally burst through the door, took over the band. We ended up in a Eurovision contest. I took them in a dangerous, sexy new direction. Death metal band headed up by a grande dame creature. I had black makeup and eyes and branches coming out of my hair. I was like a dark goddess of the forest. I embraced Freya, a figure from Norwegian fairy tale. Oh. And they were entranced and beguiled and destroyed by me. And I became somebody very different from who I know myself to be. People got this nice sort of librarian type, but with Freya, with that costume on, I was a femme fatale. And I would play mind games with them. I would turn them against each other. I'd be, one of them would be making eggs, and I'd be like, did you know what he said about you last night? And he'd be like, asking me what. And I'd be like, he said that singing is pitchy. And then I go out into the woods, and they would turn on each other. And so it all ended in a hail of bullets and fire. What doesn't? And I survived. They didn't. They got to taste hell. And I ended up with these Mac guitar skills. So there you go.
You made it out. I was originally thinking that somebody paid your ransom, but you just forced your way out of that situation.
The husband wouldn't pay the ransom. The husband wouldn't pay the ransom.
Oh, yeah.
$5 million. Do you know how little $5 million is for marshmallow magnate? He controlled all of the marshmallow roots. You know, people, it's like the spice routes. You know, if you control the spice routes, you control the spice, you control the universe. He controlled all the marshmallow highways and byways, the marshmallow mines. You know, marshmallow, if you don't mine marshmallow underground, but there is a key ingredient to marshmallows that is found underground. It's this tiny little crystal, these crystals. And so he controlled all this. He was loaded. And he just was, he was dating his account temp. It was the 90s. He didn't care.
Oh, gosh.
That's what it is to be a woman.
Wow, that's certainly, that is certainly something. I understand, not to go too deep, but I understand 2 years ago, last Tuesday, tragedy struck again. Are you at a place where you can talk a little bit about that, maybe?
I spent 2 hours doing EMDR with my therapist about Carlisle. My cat Carlisle has been missing for 2.5 years. Last Tuesday, please flash a photo of Carlisle onto the screen. I have lost all of mine. They've been torn up. I've ripped them up. I've thrown them out the window. I get sick of him. I'm tired of this story. Tired of complaining about it. I call him back. He pushes me away with paw pads straight out. The circumstances around his disappearance must remain confidential because when he is found, they need to be verified. And I have had it up to here with people who call themselves my fans, my followers, my subscribers, sending me photos of cats that are so clearly not my Carlisle, that are so clearly just an attempt for them to draw me into free guitar advice. I will not tell you where to put your wah-wah pedal in your effects chain if you send me some picture of a tabby. Carlisle wasn't a tabby. Google it. He has been missing 2.5 years ago last Tuesday. He is alive. My pet psychic has said he is resting. He is thriving in meditation. She has offered to astral project herself into Carlisle. This is a very dangerous move. It is so dicey. And I said to her, look, it's a huge risk. Do you have insurance for this? Do you have astral projection insurance? Because there are huge risks. She said, I do. And I said, well, listen, if you're up for it, I will pay you for it. But you have got to, if you go in there inside of his brain and you can see where he is and help us locate him, great. But you also got to get the psychic that's still stuck in there. The last one who astral projected into him. She is still billing me. You know how much it's costing me? And she's in overtime. So I said, great. So she's thinking about this astral projection. We're also thinking of a body switch. That I would acquire a kitten and transport Carlisle into the kitten. Now, we would still have to find Carlisle's corporeal being in order to then swap him back. And the only con of this is I would have 2 cats, and I really can only handle one. I'm a Carlisle person. Yes, I love all cats. But keeping track of Carlisle is a full-time job. Never mind some kitten who's recovering from the PTSD of kitty cat body switch. So I don't know what to do. This is my life. These are my problems.
Mrs. Smith, from your perspective, what are some of the fundamentals of shred guitar?
This all came to me spontaneously. So I didn't have any teachers, so I can't really explain any of it exactly. But I would say start slow. Start slow and start with your major scale. A lot of guitar players I see start with the 3-note per string version of the major scale. I don't favor that because I think it lends itself to automaticity. So I say learn those mode shapes. Dorian. Frisian. Lydian. Mixed Lydian. And that's minor. And then leave Locrian alone because it's evil. And you'll end up kidnapped in a closet by a death metal band. You have to know these shapes if you want to do this sort of like... But if there's something that you like that somebody's doing, I say never try to copy. Always approximate and put it into your own spin, right? So for instance, if there's something that someone's doing like a kind of you hear that like, well, I think it's a pentatonic. Turn it into a little exercise. And you gotta just spend the time. If you can't spend the time, it's not gonna happen. Unless you're some sort of prodigy or some sort of miracle child or something. You're not gonna spend the time, it's not gonna happen. Because it's all about muscle memory. So you gotta slow it way down. So learn your scales, learn your arpeggios. Major, minor, major 7. Dominant 7. And etc., etc. And just play, right? Learn your bending notes. Things like that. Have fun with it. Turn these things into little exercises. There's no shortcuts. People want shortcuts. There's none. If you're not going to spend time with the instrument, it's not going to happen. And by time, I mean hours, hours, and hours. There are little things like upstrokes and downstrokes. Economy picking, down, up, down, down, up, down, legato. Things like that, the tapping. These are all little things that you can learn, but you got to start with the... Starts with one note, tap. Pluck off. Pluck off. And from there you build, but it's got to start with that first note. And I encounter in my students a lot of picking problems. Those are hard to deal with. A lot of a sort of over effort in the right hand, a sort of frantic movement. So you want to as little effort as possible to get the note. I have a very light, almost non-existent right hand. I don't do a lot of alternate picking. I'm not big on alternate picking. You won't. That's not my jam. Go to Paul Gilbert, bother him, take his class, sign up for his Patreon. He has a guitar school, I think. It's not my thing, alternate picking. Maybe it will someday. I don't pick every note. I call it glancing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then there's sweeping.
That is so awesome. Thank you so much for your time. Where do people go to inquire about virtual guitar lessons as well as just to stay connected?
My website, worldofsmith.com, has all of the information, including merchandising and streaming music and videos. So worldofsmith.com. They can check me out on Instagram, SmithCatMRS, like Mrs. SmithCatMrs. I am on YouTube. I'm not the greatest YouTuber. I'm trying to get better. I'm not someone to post sort of twice a week, that type of thing that rules the algorithm. And then, yes, lessons. I do offer them on a sliding scale because of the pandemic. Money is sort of tight for some people, so I'm offering them on a sliding scale for folks. And then the Patreon, and I'd love the support. It will allow me to do bigger and better things.
Well, I'm sure you're going to get loads of support. It was such a pleasure to have you on the show and to learn and to you to be so open with your story.
Thank you so much, Jason. You take care. Keep rocking, okay, kiddo?
Thanks. Bye now.
Bye.